For this project, we're going to use Lion Brand Moroccan Nights. This colorway is called Palace. It is super pretty. It's a purple with sort of a beige sparkling yarn. You will need at least 3 balls of this yarn, and let's see, it is 100 grams, 273 yards in total. With this yarn, I am also going to use a 6mm crochet hook. We're going to start with a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to chain 126. And I will put the stitch multiple up here in the video in case you want to make yours larger or smaller. Once you have 126 stitches, we're going to single crochet into that first chain. We're going to chain 1, skip the next chain, single crochet in the next chain. Chain 2, skip the next 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and work a V-stitch, a double crochet V-stitch, which will be a double crochet, chain 4, double crochet. And that is a V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 4, and double crochet right back into that same chain. And that is your V-stitch. We're going to chain 2. We're going to skip the next 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3, and in the next chain, we're going to single crochet. We're going to chain 2, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and work a V-stitch in that next chain. So that's a double crochet, chain 4, and a double crochet right back into that same chain, chain 2, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet in the next, chain 2, skip 3, and this is the pattern all the way across, skip 3, V-stitch in the next, chain 2, skip 3, single crochet in the next. So keep working that until you have 7 chains left on from your foundation chain, and I'll show you how to finish this first row. I have 7 chains left. I just worked a V-stitch into this chain right before my last 7. I'm going to chain 2, skip 3, single crochet in the next. I now have 3 chains left. I'm going to chain 1, skip 1, skip that middle chain, and single crochet into the last chain. And that is row 1. For row 2, we're going to start with a chain 4, turn, and you can see that we have a single crochet. It's kind of hard to tell with this yarn, but there's our single crochet that we did, that stitch right there. And here is our V-stitch with that chain 4. Those are the 2 stitches or spaces that we are going to work into for the remainder of this project as we build this wrap. So to start row 2, we are going to work a V-stitch in the top of that single crochet. So that is a double crochet right into that single crochet stitch, chain 4, and a double crochet right back into that same single crochet stitch from that previous row. We're going to chain 2, and into each chain 4 space we're going to work a single crochet. Chain 2, into the next single crochet stitch we're going to work a V-stitch, and that's the pattern. So into every single crochet stitch from the previous row you're going to work a V-stitch. Separated by a chain 2 and a single crochet into the chain 4. Make sure you're working in that chain 4 and not this space, not the chain 2s in between. You want to make sure you're working into those chain 4s. And so every chain 4 you just want a single crochet. And everything is separated with a chain 2. So next I have a single crochet, so I'm going to work a V-stitch. And just keep working in this manner all the way back down for row 2, and I will show you how to end row 2 in a second. All right, so I just worked a single crochet in my last V-stitch. I have a single crochet that we did here. So I need to work a chain 2 and a V-stitch into the top of that single crochet. And it's hard to tell where that is, but remember when we started, we worked initially a single crochet, and then we chained, and then we skipped one, and we worked a single crochet in the next. So you want to work a V-stitch into that single crochet to complete the pattern. Once you have your V-stitch, we are not going to chain, we are going to work a treble into that turning chain. So that stitch right on the end. So I'm going to yarn over twice and work a treble crochet stitch. I like to get into both loops of my stitches just to make sure it's secure. And that is row 2. For row 3, and row 3 and 4 are the pattern repeat for this project. So we're going to start with a chain 6, turn, and again into every chain 4 space we work a single crochet. Chain 2, find that single crochet that separate our chain 4s. So these are our chain 2s in between here, and you can see there's that single crochet stitch right there. You want to work a V-stitch right into that stitch. And we're just going to repeat this all the way down. Chain 2, and you can see how the yarn kind of snags on itself. It's a challenge, but it's totally worth it. Here's our next chain 4 space. That is a single crochet stitch into that. Chain 2, find our next single crochet. So look for that chain 4 and then kind of separate your work, and you can see that that single crochet stitch will pop out for you. And into every single crochet stitch we work a V-stitch. So work this pattern back down for row 3, and I will show you how to do row 4. I am back at the end of row 3. You can see that this row ends with a chain 4. So, or the row 2 began with this V-stitch. Row 3 ends with us working a single crochet into that chain 4 space. We're going to chain 2, find the top of our turning chain, which is going to be the third chain up. So 1, 2, third chain up. Sometimes these are a little bit rough to see. We're going to work a treble into it. So as long as you get the stitch or a stitch that is close to that third chain, and I don't know why mine wound up so tight up there. It should work out. Row 4, and this is the last row of the repeat, we're going to chain 4 and turn. We've got that single crochet right away that we just worked from the previous row 3. We want to put a V-stitch into the top of that. Chain 2. Here's our chain 4. Work a single crochet into it. And that is the pattern. Chain 2, find your single crochet and work a V-stitch into it. Chain 2, find your V-stitch and work a single crochet into that. Chain 2, and so on. So keep working this all the way down, and I'll show you how to finish row 4 in a second. So I'm at the end. I have my single crochet here stitch from the previous row. So I'm going to go ahead and work a V-stitch into it. And instead of chaining 2 after this, we are going to work a treble crochet. You want to work a treble crochet into the 3rd or 4th stitch of this turning chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to try to leave 2 chains here to kind of mimic those 2 chains that we skip in between our V-stitch and our single crochet. So count up 1, 2, 3 or 4 stitches on that turning chain and just work a treble into it. And there we go. Once you get the pattern down for this, this works up super quick. It's super easy. And before you know it, you will have a really elegant, fun, festive little shawl. I thought I would hop on here really quick and show you my progress. Just look how gorgeous that is. I just love how it's working up, especially in this yarn. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to keep working on this, and I will show you the finished project in a few seconds. So I have worked this pattern up using all 3 balls of yarn. This is all I have left. I might be able to get 1 more row in, but I really don't want to play yarn chicken today, so I'm just going to leave it. I will leave the final measurements of this in the description box below so you can kind of gauge how big 3 balls of that Lion Brand Moroccan Nights will take you with a size 6mm crochet hook. My table is way too small to show you the full project here, but you can see how nice this works up. This pattern, it lends itself really well to a lacy kind of shawl, and yet it does have a little bit of, not bulk, but it does have a little bit of weight to it, so it will keep you warmer than you think despite all of these spaces. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn at this point. Fasten off. I'll weave in my tails in just a minute. So you can kind of play around with how you want to finish this wrap or shawl up. Because it has sort of a lacy feel to it and the edges are already sort of blend together, you don't really need a border. You can create sort of a shrug with this by folding it in half and then seaming up those two sides a bit to create some arm holes. I think I might take a little charm, and this is just a little bat charm, and sort of play around with this, sew it on somewhere, and see if I can get it to act as a little clasp or a little button. So if I sew it on, and then I've got a nice little charm, I can, because this has so many spaces in it, you could really play around with almost any sort of brooch or button or charm and just make a little clasp in the front to go around your shoulders, and you don't have to worry about it slipping off. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bat to my sort of Halloween webby shawl, and then I will be done. But just look at how pretty that yarn works up, and the stitch pattern is just wonderful. You can always block it if you want these to be a little bit more defined. You can just see how they look like little webs. And again, it's a 2-row repeat, and essentially you're just working the same stitch pattern over and over. So it works up very quickly. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful day. See you in my next video. Bye.